Brandon Cutler here from AEW, and I hope you guys have an awesome podcast with the MonsterCast.
What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful here. You're watching the MonsterCast with Jack and Ryan. A big shout out to those fellas. Good people. Check them out.
Here's your host of the MonsterCast, the Straight Edge Monster, Jack and Ryan.
Hello everybody, and welcome to a special video from the MonsterCast. I'm the Straight Edge Monster, Jack. That's Ryan. We're going to compare and review the Wrestling Observer Newsletter 2022 awards to our MonsterCast 2022 4th Annual Awards that you can also find the video on our YouTube channel. I actually put that video in the description below so you can see if you wanted to watch it in its entirety. But we're going to compare the voters versus us, basically. So obviously it's a voted on poll. It's not Dave Meltzer's poll, which a lot of people still don't grasp, apparently. I don't know why they keep going after Dave. It's not his poll. It's not his opinion. Even if he did vote on it, it's one vote. So no need to at Dave on Twitter with your complaints, because it's out of his hands. But we did vote, so if you want to complain about us and our votes, then I guess you could do that. That's fine with me. I don't care. Just make sure you do it on the other video, because it's lacking views and we need that to go up. So go do that one. Go do that one instead. Also, it's a really good video. So let's just go ahead and start at the top, right? Let's start at the top. Wrestling Observer Newsletter 2022 Wrestler of the Year was Jon Moxley. And who did we have? We had Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty easy one. I think we both did. We both picked him pretty easily, right? There was like really no second person. Let me see. So yeah, ours is called the male MVP of wrestling or whatever. MVP male wrestler, men's wrestler, whatever. We both picked the same one all 4 years that we've done it so far. So yeah, Jon Moxley was ours as well. Number 2 for the Wrestling Observer Newsletter was Roman Reigns, and it was a little under 1,000 vote difference, okay? Or point difference, whatever. It says 498 for Moxley, 232, but the actual numbers on the side, I think that's, what's that?
So they do ranked choice voting. So the number to the right is the total points. The number in parentheses is the number of first place votes. So they have a point system where it's like because it's ranked choice, let's say you pick Moxley, Reigns, and then Seth Rollins. The first guy gets 5 points, second guy gets 3 points, and third guy gets 2 points. And then the way they do it is based on the total number of points at the end. So
Gotcha.
If everybody voted Jon Moxley for 2, but only some people voted Roman Reigns, more people could have voted Roman Reigns for number 1. But if not enough people put him in 2, 3, whatever, he can still technically lose. It's just how ranked choice works.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. All right, that makes it more fair for sure. Okay, so that works out. So yeah, so Jon Moxley, pretty much destroyed then. Okay, so that was pretty easy. It was easy for us as well. Of course, their Wrestler of the Year involves the women and the men. So Sayuri came in 5th, but we had a separate category for ours, and our women's MVP was Toni Storm and Bianca Belair, respectively. I picked Bianca, Ryan picked Toni Storm. So we'll just throw that out there. But anyway, next up, Tag Team of the Year was FTR in a landslide as well. And who did we give Best Tag Team to?
Probably FTR. Let me pull it up. Like 90,
It was. No, I got it. It's FTR. No, it was FTR. It wasn't even close. So far, we're 2 for 2 on this, okay? So we got that. FTR was a no-brainer for us as well. We both picked that. For those of you that do not know, both of our votes count, but just separately. So a lot of them we picked the same, but there are some that we picked different. Okay, so we don't have a Best on Interviews one. We don't have a Promotion of the Year one, which we might want to start doing, maybe. Best Weekly TV Show we don't have either. We do have Match of the Year. We have Match of the Year, so let's do that one. Best match. The voters agreed with Ryan, believe it or not.
That's right.
Ryan picked Ospreay versus Okada in the G1. That's what won for Wrestling Observer newsletter as well. I picked Punk versus MJF, which didn't make the top 5 on this, which is fine. I gave my reasons why I picked it. I still stand behind that decision. But that's pretty cool that you got it right as well. Well, not right, but that they agree with you. Rivalry. Rivalry of the year is ours, so we'll take that.
Yeah.
And we both picked FTR Briscoes, and guess what won? Guess what won over there on theirs? FTR Briscoes. So we got that one right as well. Or the same. I keep saying right, but you know what I'm saying. Like, we're not trying to get the same shit as them, but it's nice to know that we're all on the same page and we're all watching the same shit. So no egregious stuff yet. Now, most improved, they gave it to the Acclaim. All right. Now, I gave the Acclaim to Breakout, Stars of the Year, whatever. Most improved for us in the men's category was Wheeler Yuta for Ryan and Jungle Jack Perry for me. And in the women's, it was we both picked Mandy Rose. So they had the Acclaim number 1. Wheeler Yuta did make the top 5 for this, by the way, for most improved. So you got that going for you. He came in at number 4. Dominic Mysterio came in at number 5, but I guess it's not that big of a jump because the bar was so low. So I guess he would be most improved if he just learned how to do a couple moves, right? So he could be top 5, I guess.
The 300% increase on what he was able to do before.
This is off of the I'm getting this off the Wrestle Purist website. Solo Sikoa was number 5, by the way.
They blocked me.
On the website?
Twitter. On Twitter.
No, well, they still have a website. They didn't block me. What did you say to get blocked from Wrestle Purist, bro? They're not even that bad of a fucking...
It was literally just a picture. I posted a picture of a mama bird feeding a bunch of baby birds, and it was Fightful as the mama bird, and then like Zero News, Wrestle Purists, and Ringside News all as the baby birds, like eating the fucking actual real news, because all they do is aggregate. So they apparently didn't like that very much. I thought it was funny.
All right, I guess that would do it. I don't know if that's warrants fucking blocking, but yeah, I guess the mood that they were in that day, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's not like it was inaccurate. We're not blocked on the at Real MonsterCast page yet. All right. Best major wrestling show. Now we do have this. Let's go against that. They had Forbidden Door winning, and guess what we had? Best show of the year was. Let me find it to just confirm because I'm pretty sure it was Forbidden Door.
I'm looking at it. It's Forbidden Door.
Yeah, it's Forbidden Door. Best pay-per-view. We call it Best Pay-per-view of the year. I guess we could change it to Best Show of the Year. Or it says Best Major Wrestling Show, so it's the same thing. But I guess some of them aren't pay-per-views, technically.
Some of them are premium live events.
Yeah, maybe they changed it too. I don't know. Maybe that's why. But no, we had Forbidden Door as well, so we got that the same. Worst major wrestling show was the Royal Rumble in 2022. We don't have that, but I can't say that I would disagree with it either, because 2022 Royal Rumble was not good. So yeah, that's the entire list though. So all the ones that we had this the same type of award for, ours was pretty fucking close. No really egregious stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's hard when it's so here's the thing too. You look at the sample, right? So the sample that this is coming from is from people who care enough about wrestling and like wrestling enough to be subscribed to Wrestling Observer newsletter, right? Which means that your sample is going to be people who have a little bit better, I don't know if I should say better, but I would say they have
more appreciation for actual wrestling.
Yeah, it's not just going to be a bunch of like, I paid whatever for Peacock and watch it on Mondays and sometimes on Fridays, and you know, it's not that. It's
more of a hardcore fan base, not the casual audience, which is why the casual audience always comes out on Twitter and bashes the award winners every year. And the other thing I tweeted out was, when they came out and everybody was complaining, was like, oh, don't worry, they're just fake awards. Okay, so if they're fake awards, right, why do they get physical, actual trophies? Why do the people pose with them? Why do people get mad when they're not rated as high as they think they should? They're real awards. That's just like every other awards.
Yeah, what is a fake award?
What's a fake award?
Yeah.
That's so
like,
dumb.
Are the Oscars fake awards? Because it's not like...
Even Fightfuls now gives out physical awards. And if we ever got big enough,
those look
I would
nice.
give out physical awards because I think that's cool. Like, what are you talking about? Fake awards?
Busted Open gives them out too, don't they?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I heard they're ugly, but I hear that they do them.
But yeah, there's a ton of
yeah.
awards out there. Like there's a lot of awards that you never heard of for movies and music that get awards.
Right.
So like, what are you talking about? Fake awards?
The funny thing is, like, there's a bunch in so like the Pulitzer, obviously everybody's like vaguely familiar with as being like a newspaper journalism type award or whatever. But there's a ton of different journalism awards from completely different bodies, and nobody says that those awards are fake just because the Pulitzer exists. The thing is, there's actually no equivalent to a Pulitzer in wrestling, except for some people viewed being nominated to the WWE Hall of Fame kind of as that. But other than that, there really isn't anything.
Well, there's adult video awards. You're not basing like, is that fake awards?
It's fake, bro.
Because the worst acting of all time, they get awards. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what is a fake award? Especially if you're being handed a physical thing and it's a yearly thing, and people are excited enough to brag about it or take pictures with it, how can you call that fake? Like, clearly it matters to some degree. If it didn't matter, then why are we having so much discourse about it on the internet, about if we agree with it or if we don't agree with it? Clearly it's a real award.
You know what the most interesting question about all this to me is? They do physical awards. They do give them to people. People do act excited about it, post on their social media. Do you think they create physical awards for the negative awards and send them to people?
I'm gonna
There's
say
no fucking
no.
way, right?
I'm gonna say no on that. I think like if you sent the worst match of the year to Pat McAfee, I think he'd be fucking hyped about it, honestly.
Right.
I think he would take it tongue in cheek because, you know, he was against Vince McMahon and it was an impromptu match and it was awful or whatever, obviously.
Yeah.
I think he would be okay with it, but like if it was like a serious year and it was the
Right.
worst match, oh no. You do not send that out, dude.
Yeah.
That's how you create enemies. That's why ours is mostly positive. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, nah, that we're gonna have worst of categories. Like, we can think what we want, and we know me and Ryan pretty much are on the same page about that was terrible. But why would I even waste money making a physical award on something that was the worst? You get nothing out of it. The laugh in return is not worth it from the general public, right? That don't really care about the awards, and the hate from or the disdain from the person receiving that award isn't worth it because they could have just had a bad night or they could have had a bad promo or whatever. It could have been bad creative. Like, I'm not going to put that on that person, if that makes sense.
Well, they did move away because they used to do like fucking worst wrestler, like awards like that. They don't do that kind of thing anymore, but they do have like worst feud, worst. It's always something that involves more than one person for their worst stuff now, like worst show, worst feud, worst. I don't know, there's a bunch of worst.
They kind of sugarcoated the worst wrestler
Worst
with
gimmick.
the most overrated. They kind of like that was like a workaround type deal. But yeah, I would never do that. I would do a most underrated wrestler, but I would never even do most overrated wrestler because it's not worth it. Like, I try to stay positive, especially on Twitter, until you get the random troll or whatever. And then most of the time I ignore it, but there are a few times where I'll go after them. But yeah, it's like this. Why even waste your energy on that type of stuff? So we don't have those type of things. And also, like I said, our award show is already kind of long. With the awards that we do have, I would add in a couple of those awards because they seemed interesting when we just went through them. But yeah, I like our levels here. Now, I will say that we have a couple that they don't have. We have the "Oh me my goodness" moment of the year from my grandma, which she used to say all the time, which is like the shocking moment of the year type deal, where Ryan picked the "You fucking Mark" MJF promo, and I picked the Cody Rhodes pec injury at the Hell in a Cell. Now, they don't have that. They don't have a shocking moment of the year award, at least not this previous year. Who knows? Because they have a bunch of defunct awards that they don't do anymore. So you never know. But we also have all of our men's and women's stuff separated as well. We also have best debut / return, which they don't have, shockingly enough. I thought that was a pretty good one to have. So we have like a few here and there. We got the Show Stealer of the Year award, which they don't have. Which actually Ryan picked Gunther and Sheamus at Clash of the Castle, which ended up being, I think, number 5 on the best match of the year for Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards this year. So yeah, we have some stuff that they don't have. We also have best men and best women indie wrestler, which they didn't have. They don't recognize the indies as a separate thing, but they have all those different styles of wrestlers, which I would never do, or the different nationality of wrestler, which I would like. Pointless, right? I feel like that's kind of pointless to me.
As global as wrestling is now,
yeah. We don't have to break it down and be like, oh, Vikingo, you're the best Mexican wrestler and you're the best light heavyweight wrestler, but you're not even in the top 5 of best wrestlers. Like, that seems kind of lowballish to me.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Not just to him, but just to the rest of the wrestlers underneath him in those categories too.
It's one of those things that's a holdover from how the business used to be. Like, there was a lot more separation and less, it's definitely like a pre-AEW thing, because you have guys go over and wrestle in Mexico now. You have guys from Mexico come over and wrestle. You have the Japan crossover, the European crossover.
Yeah, I think it was just a thing to get some other.
Much.
Yeah, it was a thing. It was a thing that they added in. I think when WWE had the monopoly on wrestling for 20 years, and they wanted to get other guys in there and have you guys watch other wrestling that weren't WWE, or weren't that the people that were only watching WWE. Hey, you could hear about these other guys that are really good, and hey, why is this person winning this award? Well, go check out their shit. But yeah, with AEW coming in and snatching up a lot of these guys from other countries and indie promotions and stuff, I think you could kind of start slowly doing away with that, with those awards. But yeah, so we had almost everything the same as them in the biggest categories. So it's interesting. So when somebody comes in here and says we don't watch real wrestling, I feel like that's inaccurate. I mean, I did at the time too, but clearly this list that came out solidifies
the problem is none of them watch real wrestling either.
So none of those people all those people that voted, none of them watch real wrestling. So maybe somebody else should have their own award show where only that person votes and they're the only ones that watch it.
Wrestling Observer subscribers just pay $12 a month to not watch wrestling at all. Actually, that's what it is.
They just really like to read about wrestling instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a big reader.
But anyway, that's our comparison to the Monster Awards versus the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards in 2022. I feel like we did a pretty good job with our assessment. I think the voters, for the most part, got a lot of the stuff right, especially at the top of the list. I feel like there was a lot of unnecessary awards that they could do away with, but like you said, like unless you're giving out a physical copy of that award for that thing, you probably don't need to have that award on there anymore. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, a lot of it does seem unnecessarily negative, but whatever. At least I've gotten rid of a lot of the negative ones. So.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and we'll have our Monster Awards 2023 on the very last week of December, like we always do. It's from the beginning of the year all the way to the end. We don't do that PWI shit. That's very confusing.
We don't need to wait to gather votes.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that's another thing. That's another publication that people act like, oh, these are fake awards. Motherfucker, why do wrestlers screenshot or take pictures of the magazine about where their spot is to post it when they're an indie wrestler? Or why do people get upset about being left off the list? Or why do people have the PWI plaques like CM Punk and Britt Baker and MJF and Tony Khan and all that stuff? They're not fake awards. People enjoy them. They are credible in some semblance. So that's why they still exist. That's why they've catapulted to be physical awards. And that's why people get excited about these lists every year, because it creates conversation. Whether you agree with them or not, saying that they're fake makes no sense, because they're very, very evidently real. Like, I don't understand.
If you're getting recognition from an institution in your industry, it's not a fake award. That's it. That's as far as you need to think about it.
If Eric Bischoff created a promotion right now who doesn't like Dave Meltzer or acts like he doesn't like Dave Meltzer and came out with this amazing fucking shit and got Best Booker of the Year, you're not going to tell me that Eric Bischoff isn't taking a fucking picture with that plaque. He's going to take a picture with the plaque, because on some level, it solidifies what he's been doing for that previous year. You're like, hey, if I'm not that good, then why did I win this?
Right.
Hey guys, did you like that video? If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also catch full episodes of the MonsterCast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And you can also catch us live every Sunday on Twitch. All links in the description below, along with some sweet merch from yours truly, the MonsterCast. Deuces.